Red Bull didn't just win at Suzuka, they made a statement. Max Verstappen, against all odds and with a car that many had written off just weeks earlier, held off both McLarens with surgical precision. And now, the question on everyone's mind is, can anyone stop Red Bull from charging back to dominance? At the beginning of the 2025 season, the paddock consensus was clear. The RB21 was flawed, twitchy, and unpredictable. Analysts claimed Red Bull would struggle to maintain pace with McLaren's surging form and Ferrari's increasingly stable package. But Red Bull has done what Red Bull does best: defy expectations. Behind the scenes, the team had been working relentlessly, and Suzuka was the first sign that something big is brewing. Red Bull revealed the first in a planned series of aggressive upgrades, and according to senior personnel, this is only the beginning. What's more, a new technical directive from the FIA is set to take effect starting from the Barcelona Grand Prix, a rule that Red Bull believes could drastically impact McLaren's performance. So the question is, are we on the verge of witnessing a titanic showdown between Verstappen and the McLaren duo of Norris and Piastri? Could the combination of regulation changes and Red Bull's upgrades be enough to swing the momentum? Let's unpack all of it. Despite the RB21's reputation as a difficult car to drive, prone to balance shifts and inconsistent grip, Verstappen is just 1 point behind Lando Norris in the Drivers' Championship. That's an astonishing stat, given how frequently he's voiced frustration with the car's setup. And yet, in Japan, he drove the wheels off it, converting raw pace into a statement win. Red Bull's approach is calculated. The Suzuka upgrade package focused on 2 key areas: a new engine cover designed to improve airflow efficiency, and a revised rear suspension that allowed for better control of the beam wing's behavior. Even though Yuki Tsunoda ran with a heavier, high downforce setup to gather comparative data, the results were encouraging. Horner and Helmut Marko walked away from Suzuka quietly confident. And there's more coming. According to Marko, Red Bull has targeted a 5-race window to fully deploy the new development package. That's an ambitious timeline in the ultra-competitive world of Formula One, where even minor updates can take months to refine. But Red Bull has the resources, the wind tunnel time, and, most importantly, a clear technical vision. This urgency is part of the reason they chose to continue with Tsunoda instead of Liam Lawson for 2025. Tsunoda brings consistency, data experience, and raw pace, all of which are vital if Red Bull wants to accelerate development and take the fight to McLaren before the season slips away. Verstappen's win in Suzuka wasn't just another victory, it was a proof of concept. It showed that even when the car isn't fully dialed in, Max can win. And if the team delivers a more stable platform in the upcoming races, his ceiling only goes higher. Let's talk about McLaren. Make no mistake, McLaren is the team to beat right now. The MCL39 has proven remarkably fast across all types of circuits, thanks in part to its excellent tire management and nimble one-lap pace. But there's a twist. McLaren has 2 top-tier drivers. Norris and Piastri are both hungry, aggressive, and, at times, even willing to compete against each other to secure the top position. This dynamic was on full display in Suzuka. Strategy errors and a lack of clear hierarchy in the team cost McLaren crucial time and potentially the win. Verstappen capitalized. That's the danger of having 2 alpha drivers. When they push each other, they push the limits of strategy too. Meanwhile, back in Milton Keynes, Red Bull is watching closely. They estimate that with the right upgrades, the RB21 could gain 2 to 3 tenths per lap, closing the gap to McLaren and giving Verstappen a much more reliable platform. Combine that with any drop in McLaren's performance due to the technical directive, and suddenly, the championship picture changes dramatically. What is this technical directive, and why does it matter? Starting at the Barcelona Grand Prix, the FIA will begin enforcing new rules around flexible front wings. These are aerodynamic components that deform under load to create downforce while technically staying within legal parameters. McLaren, and to some extent Ferrari, have been under the microscope for using what some call aero-elastic advantages. While neither team has been found guilty of wrongdoing, Red Bull believes they are pushing the limits. And when the FIA starts cracking down, the margins shift. McLaren team principal Andrea Stella has already admitted that small adjustments will be needed starting from race 9. That's no smoking gun, but it's not nothing either. Stella went on to say that McLaren is focused on much bigger performance topics, but the fact that the FlexiWing directive is even being addressed publicly shows that it's a concern. Red Bull is betting on that concern becoming a performance drop. Meanwhile, McLaren CEO Zak Brown insists that his team is not getting complacent. Quite the opposite. He says they're embracing risk. "We've got bold ideas on this year's car," he said. "We're not just trying to match the top teams anymore, we're trying to beat them outright." But Red Bull has been here before. They know that teams who take big swings sometimes miss. And in a season this close, even a small misstep can be the difference between glory and heartbreak. Let's not forget, Red Bull started 2024 as the team to beat. But by the time Miami rolled around, McLaren had unlocked performance and turned the season into a brawl. Verstappen still won, but he had to dig deep. And in 2025, he's proving he's willing to do it again. What makes Verstappen unique isn't just speed, it's his ability to win without the fastest car. Only a handful of drivers in F1 history can say that. Nelson Piquet, Keke Rosberg, and now possibly Max Verstappen in 2025. And with more wind tunnel time at their disposal this season, Red Bull has been able to pinpoint the RB21's biggest weakness: stability. Verstappen has often referred to the car as nervous, meaning it behaves inconsistently across different corners and track conditions. The goal is to widen the car's operating window, essentially make it easier to drive fast under more conditions. That not only benefits Verstappen, but it could transform Tsunoda into a more effective teammate. In a tight championship fight, two scoring cars make all the difference. Red Bull is optimistic. Marco said early data from the wind tunnel has been very encouraging, and they already know the key areas to attack. The first upgrade package, he says, should yield immediate lap time, and if they nail it, the RB21 becomes a very different beast. All of this is happening against the backdrop of increased FIA scrutiny. Formula One's technical rulebook is massive, but full of gray zones. Whether it's flexible wings, aero tricks, or clever interpretations of DRS deployment, teams will always look for loopholes. We saw this with the so-called mini DRS trick McLaren was accused of using in Baku 2024, and it hasn't gone away. Whispers around the paddock suggest McLaren and Ferrari might be using similar systems again in 2025. The FIA wants to clean things up, and that means Barcelona could be the turning point of the season. The FlexiWing crackdown, plus Red Bull's aggressive upgrades, might finally level the playing field. Verstappen recently said something telling: "If I were in that McLaren, you'd see a completely different version of me." That wasn't just a throwaway line, that was a warning. He's confident, dialed in, and absolutely determined to get the most out of this car, no matter how wild it gets. So now we ask you, can Red Bull's aggressive development curve and the looming FIA regulations be the 1-2 punch that shifts the balance of power? Will Verstappen pull off one of the most impressive title wins of his career, even without having the fastest car? Or will McLaren's raw pace and fearless mentality keep them on top? Let us know what you think in the comments below. And if you're hungry for more insights into F1's fiercest rivalries, boldest upgrades, and untold paddock drama, check out the next video on your screen right now. The battle is just beginning.